Alright, so in this video we are going to start modeling the arms. But first, before we go into arms modeling, let's just add some modifications to the antenna that I forgot to do in the last one. I'm going to click on the antenna, go into edit mode, and one thing that I want to add here is the bevel. So I press number 2 to go into add select mode, Alt to select the loop, so loop select, Control B to bevel, and then I will drag it up like this. So there we go, we added a bevel in this part of it. And another thing that we still need to change here is to get rid of the faces that have more than 4 vertices, which is basically the top of the antenna and also the base of the antenna. So I'm going to press L on the sphere. So this, we are going to select everything that is linked to the object. So it's a nice way for us to isolate parts of the model that is like a different object, but still in the same object, let's say. So now that we have it selected like this, we can press H to hide. And then, since this part here of the antenna is inside that ball and people are not going to be able to see it, I'm going to press 3 or change it from here, click on it, X, and faces. And here the same thing. Whoops, let me Control Z because I had this here selected. So Alt A, and now I'm going to press L here, hide, and then select the top of the antenna, X, faces. Nice. Another thing is the base of this antenna, so I can't see it here. I'm going to go to the local view mode, so pressing slash, and then I'm going to rotate and select the bottom of the antenna, X, and faces. Alright, now I'm going to press the slash again, and then it's going out of local view. And then to bring back the sphere that we've created, I'm going to press Alt H, and then it's going to reveal what is hidden, what was hidden. And then now that we have it complete, let's go back to object mode. And then we are going to start the actual modeling of the arms. So the arms are going to be consisted of 5 parts. So let's see. Yeah, it's the arm socket and the arms actually. Okay, so it's 4 parts: the arm socket, the arm, the hand, and fingers. Okay, so first we are going to make the arm sockets, and to do that, we are going to get the 3D cursor back to the center right here. So I'm going to press Shift S and then cursor to world origin. And then I'm going to add a cylinder again. So Shift A, cylinder, and that's it. But this one, since it's going to be part of the arms, I want it to be in a different collection. This one's in the head objects collection. I want this one to be in the arm objects collection. So to do it, I'm going to keep my mouse in the 3D view and the object that we've just created selected, press M, and then choose new collection. And this one's going to be arm objects. And that's it. This way we send our new object to a new collection. I'm going to double click on it and to rename, and going to call it arm sockets. Alright, so now that we have it renamed in the correct collection, I now need to position it in the correct place. And to do it, we are going to edit mode again, and then Shift Z to see through things, and then I'm going to scale it down because it's too big. I'm going to scale it some amount that I think looks interesting, and then I want it to be here on the side. So I'm going to first move it to where it should be, and then I am going to rotate it. Since the Y is facing towards us, I'm going to rotate it on the Y. So R, Y, and 90. And this way, I rotated the arm just like that. Let me see, it looks like this is a tad too big. So I'm going to scale it down a little bit more, like this. And it should be fine, I guess. Yeah. So I scaled it down like this, and we are good. So just so we don't forget, let's get rid of that face right there. So I'm going to enter local view, pressing slash shift Z, just so we look at the solid view. With this face selected, so 3, remember, we can change from vertex, edge, and face selection mode right here, or use 1, 2, 3. So 3 to select the face, X, and delete faces only. Now let's go out of the local view. And then I'm going to rotate it. And I want a something here that looks similar to the eyes. So if we remember what we did there, it was I to inset, and then we inset the amount that we want the this part here to be, the thickness of it, and then we press E to move it to inside the body. So like this. If we move it too much, it's going to be cutting. So let me Control Z here just so I can show you. E, if I move it too much, we can see that it starts clipping. So we don't want that. We want just a little bit of extrusion, so we don't have that clipping happening. And again, just like the eye, we are going to make this here be a bunch of triangles. So I'm going to press I and drag it down like this, and then press M and at center. So this way we have just a bunch of triangles, and this is not going to be an n-gon, which is how they call polygons that have more than 4 vertices. All right, and for last, in the arm sockets, we are going to select the loops and do that bevel that we did in all the other things. So here, there we have it selected, Control B, and pull it like this, just a little bit, and click to accept. All right, so this way we have the arm sockets complete. We just need to transfer it to the other side. And just like the eyes that we did, we are going to here to the blue wrench, add modifier, and mirror. This way, it should be in the other side, just like the eyes were. If it's not, we can click on the eyedrop, click on the head shape, and then it's going to appear on the other side. Well, at least it should. Alright, so now we are going to make the arms, the actual arms. And to do that, Alt A to deselect everything. To do that, we are going to use a little bit of a trick here, which is we are going to press 3 here, so select mode in faces, and we are going to select all these faces here inside, because we want the arms to be coming out from here. So this is a good way for us to see that the arm fits in, and also a way for us to get it already working with these triangles, so we don't need to delete them or make any changes. Okay, so now that I have it selected, I'm going to press Shift D. So with Shift D, I duplicate it. So I duplicate it, and I also can move it around. So I don't want to move it around, then the only thing that I need to do is press the right mouse button, and it's going to be placed exactly where it was before. Now that I have it duplicated and still selected, I'm going to press P so I can separate it. And then I'm going to choose selection. This way I have here another object with the same name, but now with this 0.001 suffix. To change to that other object, I can click in here, and so in this little dot, and then I'm going to that other object. Now I can select this one and move it around. So I press A to select everything and G to move. And so this one is going to be the arm. So we need to change the names of it. So this is not the arm sockets anymore. These are going to be the arms. So arms. There we go. But it doesn't look like the arms yet. And to do that, we just need to scale, actually not to scale, we need to extrude it up. So we extrude it out like this, and we are going to have our arm. But before doing that, let me click and Ctrl Z. Before doing that, I want the arms to be slightly thinner than the arm sockets. So I'm going to press S to scale it down ever so slightly like this. And then now I'm going to scale it. So not scale, it's extrude every time I get it wrong. So there we go. I want the arms to be this big. I don't know how much it is, but that's how long I want the arms to be. And this way we already have the arms finished. And that's basically it for the arms. Now we can add the hands. And one thing that you may have noticed is that we didn't need to add a mirror modifier to the arms. And that's basically because we created the arms from within the arm sockets. And this is why we got the arms with the mirror modifier. And well, that's a trick that we can use for other objects. But now that I remember, we still need something to do here in this arm. Because just like the antenna, it doesn't have, let me press 1 here, it doesn't have vertices to select along the arm. So it's literally like a stick. It's not going to be able to move around. We wouldn't be able to move it around. So we need to add more geometry to it, just like the antenna. And to do that, we are going to press Ctrl R and rotate the mouse wheel a couple of times, and then click and right click to keep it in the same place. If you want to change the number of cuts, we can always go to this last operator and move the options right here. Okay, nice. Now we already have something here in the arms that we would be able to move around after. Okay, so to use the same trick that we did with the arms, and so we already get the mirror modifier in place, we are going to add the hands in here and then separate the hands to another object, just like we did with the arms. That I want the hand to be in the tip of the arms and just around here. So I'm going to select it and then Shift S and cursor to select it. Now the cursor is at the exact middle of the arm, like the exact middle of the tip of the arm, actually the end of the arm. So I'm again going to press Shift A and then add a UV sphere, just like we did with the antenna. But this one is slightly bigger, so I'm going to make it smaller, like around here. It's good. So now we have the hand in place. I'm just going to separate it. So I'm going to press P, selection, and then here double click it and move the name of it to head. Oh, not head, to hand. Hands, because there are two of them. And then I'm going to click on this little dot here so we can go to it. Because we are going to use the hands to get the shape of the fingers. And to do that, I'm going to press 2, so we select edges, and then Shift Z, so we go back to solid view, and I want to grab these lines here. So I want to grab all the lines that cuts this sphere in half. So I'm going to press Alt, click here, and then we can see that it didn't get to this other side here. So I'm going to press Shift, Alt, and click. All right. So now we have something that is grabbing all the way through this sphere. Then I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate, right click to keep it at the same place, and again we are going to separate it from the hand. So I'm going to press P and selection, and now I'm going to click here on this little dot and change the name of it to fingers. These are going to be the fingers. All right, so if we press A, we see something. If we don't press, we are not going to be able to see anything. So first of all, I'm going to select everything with A, and then let me press Shift Z so I can see through it. I'm going to grab these lines here a little bit to the right here. So I'm going to press G, X, and move it around here. So this here is going to be kind of like our shape for the fingers. It's it's basically going to be like a pincer. So now that we have it, it's still selected. I'm going to press Shift D again, right click, and this one I will scale it up like this, and this is going to dictate the thickness of the finger. So I wanted the finger to be this thick, so I'm going to right click to click here to accept, and that's basically it. So now what we are going to need to do is to connect some pieces. So I'm going to press 1 so we can see vertices. I am going to connect this vertex with this vertex. And to do it, I'm going to click here, click Shift, click this one, and I'm going to press F. So I make an edge or a face. The same thing I'm going to do on this one right here, because this is the middle. So I want to grab it from here and Shift click on this other one, F. Okay, these two vertices here, we don't need them anymore, so we can simply delete them. I'm going to press X, and this time I will choose vertices. Okay, here I'm going to do something first, because since there are two fingers, and we want this upper half to be a finger and this lower half to be another one, we are going to need to separate these two guys here. And to do that, we are going to press the letter V. So press the letter V, and then we separate one from another. And right click to make it be on the same place. Select this other one, V, and then we separate it. Okay, now what I want to do is to isolate this part here of the finger, so I'm able to connect these two here. For that, I'm going to press L on top of it, and then it's going to select everything that's linked. Since we separated these two guys here, this top half is not going to be linked anymore. So they are not going to be selected. Then now we need to isolate this guy, and for that we're going to press Shift H. And then we are going to hide whatever is not selected. So I will press here. So select this vertex and shift select this vertex, F, to complete the connection here. And then if we want to go back with the selection, if we want to go back with the visibility of all the hidden objects, we press Alt H and then Alt A to deselect everything. Now we are going to do the same thing, but with the top half. L on the top half, Shift H to isolate it, and then I'm going to click on this vertex, Shift click this vertex, F to connect them to. Alt H to go back, Alt A to deselect everything. Nice. Now we have the shape of our finger, but we still need to make it a actual 3D model, because at the moment it's a bunch of lines and vertex. It's not, it doesn't have any face. So we need to create those faces. And to do that, there are a couple of ways that we can go on with these fingers, but I'm going to show you, which is, so first of all is to select these 4. So we can select 4 vertices and press F, and then we create a face. We can also select 3, so Shift and 3. We also create a face, but this time it's a triangle. We can select multiple vertices at the same time. So here I press L to select the linked and press F, and it is going to create a face, but just like we had with the cylinders before, this one has just too many vertices for a single face, and we don't want that. We want it to be nice and clean quads and triangles at most. So to do that in another way that's not selecting each 4x4 and creating faces like that, we can also press 2 to go to Add Select. Click on this edge right here and we press F, and then it will keep completing the faces like this. This is another way of doing it. And there is another way, that is the one that I'm going to use here, which is press L in the thing that we have, and we press Ctrl F to access the faces options. And then we are going to find grid fill. When I click on it, it's going to create that nice topology for us out of the box. This is basically because this was created to be like this. And so if you use grid fill in all the cases, it may not work the same way. So be aware. It depends on the case, on the object, and how things are set up. So Alt A to deselect. Okay, my dog wanted to interact, so let's continue. And okay, so we did the upper half. Now we are going to do the lower half. Just press L on the lower half and then Ctrl F and grid fill. Okay, this way we have, let's press Shift Z. We have the faces, but still it's just faces. It's not a solid object. So just like I said, it's not solid. So we need to solidify this object. And to solidify this object, we're going to do something very simple, which is I'm going to press Alt A to deselect everything, and we are going to add a modifier. And the modifier that we want is the solidify modifier. So now, since I want the solidify to happen before the mirror, I'm going to click here and drag it up like this. So I'm able to move the modifiers just like so. And another thing that we see is that this one is moving to the left and this one is moving to the right. If I make it bigger, you're going to be able to see a little bit better. I don't want it to work like this. I want it to be even. So if I want it to be even, I will check this even thickness. Also, the offset, I don't want it to offset anything, so I'm going to set it to 0. Now that I have it to 0, we can see that it has the same thickness and it's going to both sides the same way. So I can make it a tad bigger like this. One thing, if I hold shift, I can have more precision over these sliders. So like this, I want, yeah, something like this. It should be fine. And this way I have the finger shape, I'd say. But still, I'm not satisfied with this. I want something else to happen here. And that's basically the bevel that we had before. We added bevels here, we added bevels here, and on the antenna. I want bevels here on the finger as well. So I think it's going to look cooler. So in this case, since this here is a plane like this, I cannot, I'm not going to be able to add bevels here because it actually doesn't exist yet. It's only going to exist when I apply this modifier, which we are not going to do yet. So instead of doing the bevels in here, like by hand, we are going to add this bevel in the modifiers. So I'm going to add modifiers again, and I am going to add a bevel modifier. Now that I have it, I also want it to happen before the mirror, so I'm going to bring it up. And one thing is, if I get this bevel above the solidify, it's not going to work because there is no solid object to work on, and a bevel needs a solid object to work on. So I'm going to bring it down again, and then we see that it changed its shape. One thing that we can see is that it changed quite a lot, and I don't want it to change that much. I want to change just a little bit. So I'm going to hold shift and get this amount here down. So I'm going to bring it down like this here, and it should be good like this. And I'm also going to set the segments to 2, just like we have in all the other objects that we added the bevel. So they have 2 segments. All right. So here we finished the hand, we finished the arms, we finished the arm socket. So I'd say that we finished the arm objects, and that's basically it then for this video. We just need to do something that's very important after completing something, which is saving. So Ctrl S to save the project. And now that we already have it, in the next video we are going to start modeling the legs. So I will see you there.